My name is Ray McGrath. I work in Éireann. I head the research division, also have responsibility for the environment. I'm here today to talk about the Irish climate specifically, changes that we've seen in the recent past, what the current climate is like, and what changes we can expect in the future. There's a lot of emphasis on extreme weather because it obviously impacts on Irish farming in a big way. And we have a special interest in that in Éireann as well. When you go back over the records, first of all, there's a lot of natural variability in the weather systems. It's not just over Ireland, it's a global feature. Every year there are records broken in the climate system. And nothing much has changed, as it were, if you go back over the last few decades. Every year you'll still find records are broken. But what has changed in recent times is that, first of all, the climate has got warmer. That's a very strong signal when you look at the global data. But when you zoom in over Ireland, you also see a similar warming having occurred, and it's very apparent if you go back, say, over the last 50 years. For rainfall, the signal is a bit more mixed. There's certainly some evidence that it's got wetter in Ireland. The signal, as I said, it's a noisy picture, and it's not perhaps quite as obvious as the temperature rise, but nevertheless when you look at the data in more detail, you can see changes, and roughly over, say, a 50-year period, we're looking at a change of the order of about 5% increase in the mean annual rainfall over Ireland. It's not a uniform picture across the country. Some parts, the west of Ireland and the southwest, seem to have experienced a bigger change compared to the east. That's the picture that we have at present. A lot of variability. Obviously, the current year, 2013, there has been a lot of interest in the very cold spring, and that certainly stands out in the record, the temperature record. It was exceptionally cold. Temperatures were outside the normal curve, as it were. Also, for some areas, it was extremely dry, and again, the combination of very cold, very dry, it led to a fodder crisis in the spring. If we look ahead to the future, we run a global model. We're actually running a global model, but also a smaller model, just to zoom in over Ireland. And the signals that are coming out from that suggest that it'll continue to warm. It depends very much on the scenarios of future greenhouse gases. If the international community get together and try to reduce the emissions, then obviously we'll experience less of a warming. But at the moment, it looks like that if we continue as we have been doing in the past, that by mid-century we'll see temperature rises the order of 1–1.5 degrees thereabouts. There will also be increases in changes in precipitation, I should say. But again, it's a noisy signal, and it seems that we will have wetter winters and drier summers. To some extent, this data needs to be refined, and we need to analyse it a bit more carefully. We're not yet in a position where we could specifically say that, say, a province or Munster is likely to get wetter than another province. That kind of regional detail is not there. The biggest interest might be in the position of extreme rainfall. We do expect that there will be an increase in the amount of heavy rainfall events, say very wet days. There is some evidence that it has occurred in the past and in the current climate, and we expect that to continue in the future. But there is still a good deal of uncertainty regarding the future and the likely impacts it will have on Irish farming. From Éireann's point of view, we are very keen on supporting the farmers, and we will go back and look at the fodder crisis and try to see if we can pick out the reasons why we've had such unusual weather that year. I look at it in the context of seasonal forecasting. Seasonal forecasts at present, they are a bit iffy, shall we say. The quality of them is not very high. Éireann is very reluctant to put them out to the public because we feel that the skill in them is quite limited. But nevertheless, for somebody that needs a decision support tool, as it were, they could be useful, and we would like to progress on that and see what use could be made of them. The other main area of activity for us would be to reanalyse the Irish climate over the past 30 years, but to produce data sets of weather variables that up to now perhaps have not been available. These will be high resolution data sets, and that will facilitate people doing applications modelling, looking at, say, grass growth models, where you may want to go back in time looking at it. Well, the farming community, obviously, it's a very big area as far as Éireann is concerned, a very important customer. And we do have a lot of farmers obviously tune into our national broadcasts on television and listen on the radio as well. But increasingly, there is a lot more information available, say on the internet and the social media sites regarding the weather. And that's matter of fact, we can't change that. We would see Éireann as being very relevant because, first of all, we have very good forecasts, and we will try to add value to those forecasts to encourage farmers to use our products. We're very keen to essentially to beef up our presence in the farming community and to deliver what the farmer wants. And by that we mean that having tailored forecasts for specific sites, so that instead of having general forecasts that a farmer might perhaps on his mobile phone or iPad might be in a position to sort of say, what's the forecast for my area, what's happening in the next few days, and the system will send back a message saying the farmer is actually in a certain location and generate a forecast that is exactly tailored for that person. And perhaps not just short-range forecasts, but going further out, medium-range forecasts a few days ahead, and perhaps even seasonal forecasts at some stage, if we can demonstrate there's some skill in it. We want to be seen to be relevant as regards to Irish farming, to be very supportive of farming. It's such a big business. It's part of our strategy, as it were, that we should be very actively supporting the farmer community, and that's what we intend doing.